All right. I got a couple of questions I came up with. Ready? Well, this is turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, located on 23rd Ave next to AMC Theaters and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. Get to Joe's today. Get yourself some fast-paced white-knuckle racing in, where the only speed restriction is how fast you are. Joined in studio by probably one of my favorite guests so far this year, Joe Kosiski. Thanks for coming back, Joe.
Hey, you're welcome, Dan.
This is a treat, having Joe Kosiski in the studio right now. I mean, you have a NASCAR Hall of Fame legend driver. I mean, how many times do you get to, hang out with those guys?
Well, Buddy Baker keeps blowing up my phone, but I don't like talking to that guy as much as I like talking to Joe.
And it's Carl who or Jimmy what? I mean, we have Joe Kosiski.
Oh, this guy's like, hey, I'm 5-time. Interview me. And I'm like, no, I got Joe.
No. We have a guy that eats and drinks dirt. So, I mean...
Joe, I know you've graced us today, sticking your head out of literally the dirt. You've got so much to do out at I-80 this week with getting ready for the Silver Dollar Nationals. So let's start off with the easiest question. How's the season going at I-80 for you guys?
Season's been extremely good this year. Everything's going good. The people are buying a lot of tickets to the Silver Dollar Nationals. We've got a lot of things planned. I'm hoping that it comes out and the fans have a good time. That's what it's going to be all about, is the fan, I'm hoping, this week. With the people that's got it on their websites, I mean, we're looking at the Billy Moyers that already got it on their website, the Scott Bloomquist, Jimmy Owens. There are some names that they don't get to the Midwest ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just take them with last year's champion, Don O'Neill. And then you add our locals that we got, Kyle Burke and John Anderson. And this year we changed the tire rule a little bit. We put them on the WRS 55s, which the guys back here, that's all they run. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to make that a little bit of an equalizer for our hometown guys to have a chance to run with these other guys.
Now, somebody like you, Dan, you probably don't know who Scott Bloomquist is.
I don't even know what the tire he was talking about.
Well, the tire's round and black, and it's got tread on there.
Okay.
So
it has Goodyear or Hoosier written on it.
Hoosier. Hoosier. Yeah, there you go. I don't know a whole lot about the late models, but the one thing I was going to get to is when you have the guys like Don O'Neill and Scott Bloomquist, and Joe, tell me if I'm wrong in this, these are guys that, if you don't go to the Silver Dollar Nationals, you may never get to see these guys unless you travel to Tennessee or Georgia or Mississippi or something like that.
Probably the closest place you're going to get to see them this year would be over by the Mississippi River, up in Wisconsin, somewhere up in there, or like you're saying, Tennessee down south there. And, there's some of these guys that are getting pretty old, and Scott Bloomquist almost stopped running the Lucas Oil Series this year because he started getting out of the point system, and I was getting a little nervous up here at the I-80 Speedway that he wasn't going to be here, and because, he's a big draw. He's a big name that you want to have here. And, one of these years they're going to have that kind of a year, and they're going to start settling down and running the smaller series around home and, or retire. And, he's not a young man no more, but he's still a great race car driver,
Somebody told me a long time ago that Scott Bloomquist is actually like the #1 most sought-after dirt track late model driver. I don't know. I've never seen the guy race or met him, but that's what I was
probably
told.
To want him at your racetrack because he brings this, I don't know what you call it. He's got the skull and bones, and you know what I mean? He's that type of a person. Really, to meet him and talk to him, he's a good guy, but he's there. He doesn't care if he makes somebody mad to rub wheels with them, but he's going to be there to, have a great race.
And he's coming to win.
About. Yep, he's coming to win.
Talk to me a little bit about it. I've only heard from Bud and Andrew and people around the area what the Silver Dollar Nationals are, but I've never experienced it. So talk to me about what is it? When did it get? How did it get started? And what am I in? What are
you in for?
What am I in for when I show up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
Well, Thursday night we start out with the last point night of the SLMR series. So there's going to be at least 2 guys that are going to be so happy they're still in the top 2 when they get there. The third place guy's going, well, if one of them 2 could make the race when qualifying comes along, I could actually have a provisional and that starts out Thursday night. And the guys, because of not running on WRS 55s, many of them have never even run one of those tires before. They're going to be there practicing on Thursday night. So we're going to give them about 3 good sets of practice besides having the SLMR series with them. And I think that night we run B-Mods and Hornets. It's just a basic try to keep the racetrack good, make it fast, so them guys can run a good couple of hot lap sessions and be ready.
What is a provisional, by the way?
Provisional is like the top 2 in points are guaranteed a spot. They'll start way at the back. Back in like the 30-something position. But when you get there, you'll never have seen a dirt race probably that these guys have I mean, we're going to start, it could be as many as 35 or 36 cars.
Wow.
I mean, on one racetrack at one time. And you know what it's like when you go to some of these other tracks and there's only 18 or 20. But these guys are all good enough. They'll be able to race and be able to race with them kind of cars on the track.
Really?
Yeah, it shouldn't be 2 green laps and a caution, 2 green laps and a caution.
Yeah.
You're not going to see – I mean, these are professional touring guys. I mean, you're going to see some of the best out there.
So Thursday night's going to be basically – I mean, I wouldn't say basically, but it's going to be your provisional night for Friday night?
Well, it's going to be the SLMR series. Will get their final provisional out of that race.
Okay.
And then they're actually racing 3 classes that night with the practice for the other guys to get used to the tires because they have to get used to the tires. Then Friday comes along, and you want to talk about the best modifieds in the world. I believe the USMTS. Bud can only dream of ever owning a USMTS
I can only
car.
dream of owning the lug nuts off the rear ends of one of them things.
But, when the USMTS, I mean, they're a great modified series, and then you pull these late model guys that we've been talking about. We're going to put them out there. They're going to qualify. Now, the thing is, it's really different is we're not doing a time trial. A lot of people say, oh, I hate time trials. We're not doing that at I-80 Speedway. Our time trials for the Silver Dollar Nationals runs 2 heat races. So if Scott Bloomquist would accidentally draw number 1 in one heat, he's going to start on the front row in that heat, and everybody's going to go, oh, well, there's no touching him. Guess what? He comes back for a second heat race later in the evening that he has to start dead last in. And then they make points. They make points for the 2 races. That's how they line up for the Silver Dollar Nationals. The top 18 work off of them points that they make in them 2 heat races.
So either way, you're going to have to run really good in both heat races. You're not going to be able to screw around or,
I mean, if you win one, you better be able to get 4th or 5th in the next one, probably to be guaranteed a spot in the Silver Dollar.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about those tires. You talked about how you're switching the tires to be a little bit more what they run in the Midwest. What's the difference between what they regularly run and what you're switching to?
Well, the tires that they usually run are usually like what they'd call a Hoosier 1600 or a McCrary MD56. And them tires are actually about an inch and a half wider than what our Hoosier WRS 55s are. So that's one thing. They also make them in different grades. Like they'll have a 1600 white dot in the Hoosier, which is a softer compound. So you put everybody on a hard compound, it's like throwing something hard across a hard surface, and guess what? It isn't as easy to stick. So now it takes driving ability, it takes chassis ability, and it takes great racers, which we're going to have there to be able to make everything work together.
So talk to me about Friday night then. When I show up on Friday night, what am I going to get?
When you show up on Friday night, you're going to get a complete USMTS complete, and it's in a national touring series, so it pays $4,000 to win. And there's guys that only race for USMTS that will only go to the national races. They don't come to the regional races sometimes. So I'm guessing we're going to have 50 to 55 USMTS national drivers. I mean, like Kelly Shyrock's going to be there, Stormy Scott, Jason Hughes.
Ryan Gustin.
I mean, Ryan Gustin's a terror out of Marshalltown, Iowa. I bet Tim Donlinger's down from up in the Minnesota area. We'll have guys from all over everywhere. There'll be about 55 of those guys. And I'm guessing we'll have 55 to 60 of the late model cars here. When you get there, you're going to watch qualifying for the modifieds. You'll watch a set of qualifying heats for the late models. Probably come back with a B feature for or 2 B features for the modifieds. We'll have to wait on car count to give the direct exact what we'll have. We'll come back with the other set of late model heats, which is going to be inverted start from the first one, and then we'll come back with the modified feature for the night. So they'll actually be the big program of the night. When you come in the gate on Saturday, we will come in with only the last chance qualifiers, which will be like the B features, and the USMTS will be there for another complete program. So it'll probably go like the USMTS heats. We'll come back with the super late model, the Lucas Oil late model B features, come back with the B feature for the modified, have about a 15, 20-minute intermission. We bring all the drivers up that's in the Lucas Oil series, all of them that made the feature at that time. We bring them up. We get them on the front. We get them out on the concourse. People come down, shake their hands, get some autographs. We have them introduce themselves over the microphone, get a little bit of enthusiasm into the grandstand. Some of these people have never seen them and never going to see them again. Then we take them back down because now we've had intermission. We come out, we run the modified feature, and then we come back and run the 80-lap feature for the late models.
Geez, 80 laps.
80 laps.
Yep.
Well, it's I-80 with an 80-lap feature.
There you go.
It only took Dan here, 3 months to figure that out. I-80 doing 80 laps. Come on, Dan.
But I didn't figure it out. Joe spelled it out for me.
Yeah, literally. The one thing about the Silver Dollar Nationals, I was there last year on the Friday night show, and you're talking about a show that's literally bringing the fastest cars to the state of Nebraska. I mean, this USMTS show, I give them all the respect in the world, but you can go to a lot of tracks in Iowa or Nebraska. But when you bring the USMTS, you're bringing these basically outlaw late models, and you're bringing them to one show at I-80. You are not going to see the speeds anywhere else in the state of Nebraska for the entire year. If you're a speed freak, this is the show that you got to go see.
You'll have a few sprint car guys. Well, they're not going to be as fast as the sprint cars. I'll tell you what. I timed them the other night when the sprint cars and the late models were there, and we wasn't that far off from having some of the greatest times. Now, the modifieds we had a couple weeks back is not going to be quite as fast as these modifieds because they run a little bit bigger motor package. They run a little bit, they run quick changes. They run a lot of different things that'll just help them out to finish getting them that much better. But, they are unbelievably fast modifieds.
The one thing I will give you a hint on, to my experience, and I've been to I-80 a lot of times, my very, very favorite place in the whole house, and this has been no secret, is right down there in turn 4 where your tow trucks are. There's a little guardrail right there, and I've waved at you a couple times. You sit right where the inside guardrail, and that little guardrail comes behind the tow trucks. You sit right there, and when Joe and these boys come around with their big late model front ends, they'll actually bounce off that wall right there a few times, and you can almost high five Joe's. He comes around the corner, and boy, you talk about an earth-shattering life moment right there.
Well,
Good Lord.
You stuck me there for about 4 or 5 laps and just kind of walked away, and I pooped a little bit. I'm not afraid to admit it. I had a little mess in my pants.
You sharted.
Yeah, I had a little mess in my pants.
But it
is something that's very frightening because you guys almost kind of dive down into the corner right there, take 3 a little bit high, and you kind of come down low into 4, and it's like they're coming right at you. And
it is the coolest thing. I've been to a lot of dirt tracks in my lifetime, but that is the number one. Until the day I die, I'll always remember turn 4 I-80. I take all my friends that I bring out there for the first time. Matt Turner, a good friend of mine, I brought his wife down. She weighs, she's 5'2", weighs 70 pounds, and I put her right there. And I swear to God, I think the horsepower off your guys' cars coming off turn 4 lifted her off the ground from the vibration, and she jumped and almost ran into the tow truck.
Well, when the race starts, that's when it's even better.
Oh,
they're not coming that fast. All of a sudden, you hear that motor's wind up, and it's just amazing.
It's a thrust.
It's just horsepower. It's a
you
rush.
can go to Daytona, you can go to Kansas City, you can go to Newton, Iowa, you can go to any cup race, but nothing beats the experience of going to I-80 Speedway, sitting on that turn 4 little honey hole right there.
Those
wow.
officials are never going to let you get that close.
Well, I'll tell you another great place if you're sitting in the grandstands on the backstretch, even because it's so close to the track. When them guys come out, it's really amazing.
I'm seriously, I'm so excited to go to this. I'm going to be able to make it Thursday night and Saturday night, and come hell or high water, I will be there, sitting down there in turn 4 and watching Bud going, there it is.
You're going all 3 nights.
I'm
racing that Thursday night, and
I can't make it Friday night, but I'll be there on Thursday and Saturday.
I'll be there Thursday night, and then Saturday night I'm skipping Eagle, and I'm not missing the chance to see Billy or Scott Bloomquist.
Where can I get tickets at? Ticket packages and ticket prices, please.
We're selling tickets right now at I-80 Speedway office, which is the phone number's 402-342-3453. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're selling the tickets at right now, and they've been selling them daily.
We're talking about the race action. The one thing I don't want to miss, I don't want no one to miss out on this, is the camping out at I-80. The tailgating is going to be out of this world.
The tailgating's great. Last year we had over 100 campers. I'm expecting to see a couple hundred this year from everybody that's been calling us. We've got a great campgrounds down there on the east side of the facility. We've got trailers and vendors been calling, wanting to make sure they're part of this series. I expect everywhere we got in the vending area to be full. It's going to be what a fan's going to love is what he gets to have here. It's going to give him a mini Daytona experience.
Don't you have a Silver Dollar Nationals Facebook page also?
Yes.
I thought I just saw that the other day, and I was like, now this is cool. And some of these promoters and track owners will actually kind of, I guess in a way, overhype the big races, the big events that they have come up to their track.
Yep.
I went to the Silver Dollar, and Joe's not kidding. I literally saw people buying tickets out of Charlotte, Texas, California. The only thing I haven't seen yet is somebody coming out of the Mongolian shrines in Tibet. And I'm sure it ain't going to be too long. We'll see one of the Mongolian monks flying over.
Give it time.
Give it time. Someone's been going, karate chop in your rear end, get tickets to the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please try not to pull out your hair this week. I know you got a lot to do. It's nothing that's easy to pull off, but I got a feeling says you guys do a great job at it, and I really can't wait to be down there Thursday and Saturday.
I appreciate it.
This coming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the Silver Dollar Nationals at I-80. Go on to i-80speedway.com. All your information is there. You can also call the I-80 Speedway ticket office, which the phone number is one more time.
402-342-3453.
And, buddy, you had one more thing you were wanting to chime in with?
No, I was just going to tell you. You know how we did cut that promo?
Yeah.
Catch it if you can?
Yeah.
I was going to do that at the very end when you closed.
Oh, okay. The Silver Dollar Nationals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that what?
Yeah, okay. Well, now I've lost my track.
Not too hard when Bud's around.
I get off track pretty easily.
Bud usually spins off the track.
Don't laugh, Dan. At least I was on track at one time.
Yeah, I wish I could leave that in there somehow.
To spin off, you got to be on track somewhere.
All right, give them a call today. Get your tickets before they run out. They're going fast, so get your tickets to the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Catch it if you can.
This has been Turn 3. We're going to turn around and get into Turn 4 in just a minute. We're going to talk with Andrew with the Infield Report. This is the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting and Council Bluffs on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.